Okay, thank you, Sungho. Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our colleagues in the Global Thursday Forum. We are privileged to introduce our featured speaker for today, Dr. Professor Edin Veladzic of the Ministry of Civil Affairs based in Sarajevo in Bosnia Herzegovina, who holds a PhD in social science at the University of Sarajevo and has been a scholar in Germany and Italy, among other places. He has been senior advisor for European integration and international cultural cooperation, particularly in the sector for science and culture of the Ministry of Civil Affairs of Bosnia and Herzegovina up to last year. He is, of course, like many of us here, a history teacher. He is a member of the expert subgroup Safeguarding Cultural Heritage in Ukraine, European Commission, from now till 2025. He is the representative of Bosnia Herzegovina in the Joint Commission for Scientific and Technological Cooperation between the Council of Ministers of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the government of Montenegro up to 2026. He has been the national contact person for the UNESCO Convention on the Protection and Promotion of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions. So that's just a sample of his many contributions to the work of history and policy. And among the awards and recognitions, he is the recipient of the Global Pluralism Award, the Learning History That Is Not Yet History team. And as Sung Ho mentioned earlier, he has been appointed ambassador of the EuroClio. He also holds the Erasmus Euromedia Country Medal, European Society for Education and Communication. That was in Vienna, Austria. And of course, we are still privileged to share that he is the author of 2 books, 32 scholarly papers, and 9 history books and teaching materials. And all of these published studies are related to cultural policy, public policy, cultural heritage, diversity convention, among others. The most significant bibliographic unit in the wider field of cultural policies is the book, Cultural Policies in Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Light of Cultural Policy of the European Union, Sarajevo, circa 2021. And so, colleagues in the Global Thursday Forum, may I present our featured speaker for today, Dr. Professor Edin Veladzic.
Welcome, Edin. Edin, you can open your this screen. Okay, your presentation paper.
Is it open now? No.
Yes, yeah, you can open.
Yes,
Or
that's okay.
you can you whatever you want to start to some remarks. Okay.
Okay, maybe to move from these technical issues now, let's to our key reasons why we are here. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Professor Bernard. Thank you very much to my Korean colleague, Mr. Kang, for this introduction. Very nice words. I would like to share that my pleasure, my honor, that I'm very honored to be first to be invited to share this afternoon time in my country here, so this evening time in Asia or morning time in the United States with you, and to be able to speak, well, to share opinions about some interesting topics at this moment on global level, and I think that's why I choose that understanding geopolitical position of Bosnia and Herzegovina in current time, especially having in mind all things, all processes that we have in Europe and also on global level could be interesting for this international audience. From my side, I would like to say that is on one side a bit strange, on the other side it is well, challenge and opportunity to have this kind of conference, especially because of participants that comes from different parts of our planet. So that's it. You heard some things about my career, my CV from Professor Bernard. I would like to, well, mention some things about myself that I think which are that are very important, and it is about my engagement in EuroClio organization, and in general in history teaching education area in my country. I'm very glad to see. I want to say now our friend, our Bosnian friend, Dr. Pingel, whom I met. Well, we met a couple of times at the beginning of 2000. I think it was at that time when he was here, and well, I'm sure that we had good cooperation. I also would agree with him that well, it is questionable now about success that how success that we had with everything that we had done at that time. From my point, I would say that any kind of actions and in civil sector at all, not only in history education sector, but in civil sector was much better in our country. Well, in first decade, I would say so of this century, it was much better than in the last 10 years. Why it is so, we can well discuss it. We can. It's possible to explain, but we don't have enough time to do it. But I wanted to emphasize my position in EuroClio, and EuroClio as European Association of History Educators did great things, not only in Bosnia in Herzegovina and in the whole region, in many Balkan countries and in many other European countries that has a need for such kind of assistance. Well, after Berlin Wall was down. Not only in Balkan countries, I think it was the same with many other Eastern European countries. Regarding my position on today's forum, I would say that I'm here not as I'm speaking here as in my own capacity, not in capacity of the Ministry of Civil of the employee in the Ministry of Civil Affairs, and of course everything what I will share with you today is well my own opinion. That's it. Yes, Just to mention that regarding EuroClio engagement in this country, I was one of founder and president of EuroClio HIP association in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I'm very proud that you know that my country had a horrible war in 1990s, and I'm very proud that just 5-6 years after the war, we succeeded to establish one association of history educators. Not well. It is very important to emphasize that we talk about history educators. You know that history is a very sensitive topic, very sensitive area. We are not talking about poets or filmmakers, etc. But with we succeeded as at that time as just graduated students. We succeeded to make connections with our colleagues from the whole territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina. What was well challenge for us, and we succeeded it. We did it, and we realized many successful projects in history education. Not only within territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also with our colleagues from regional countries, from our neighboring countries like Serbia, like Montenegro and Croatia and North Macedonia. And it is very, very important having in mind the whole political context of well related to dissolution of Yugoslavia, related to several wars that happened in this area, in this region of Europe in 1990s. That's about myself and my engagement in EuroClio association, and the role of EuroClio as association on European level and on national level in these Southeast European countries, in our case in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mr. Bernard has already mentioned some awards that we achieved, and well, I'm very proud on that. Now, my engagement in EuroClio issues are well, is partly my position is that I'm president of the supervisory board, and still we have well some useful projects. Sorry, still we have some useful projects, but as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that situation in, for this kind of actions in civil sector is much worse than that was well 20 years ago. Okay, that's about that. Now let's turn to the central topic of today's meeting. Mr. Kungo, just to check that everything is okay regarding my voice, regarding. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you loud and
Yeah, we
clear.
can hear you, right.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can,
okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay.
all right.
Okay, let's return to the central topic of today's meeting, and that's understanding of geopolitical position of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I want to share with this international audience some things, some relevant things from my point, from the past, from well, relevant for the present, and probably to discuss with you about the future, because it is hard to predict what will be what will be in coming coming years, because things on geopolitical level are changing in no one knows at this moment in which direction. First, I would like to share some elementary things about facts about Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia, my country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, we know, is situated in Balkan Peninsula, in western part of the Balkan Peninsula. In a cooler area, it is also, there is no right definition where are borders of the Balkans. Everybody who investigates this area knows that, borders regarding Balkan, definition of Balkans is quite movable. For some scholars, well, Slovenia and Romania and Greece and Turkey are also parts of Balkan, something what is known in political terminology as Balkan area, Balkan countries. For other scholars, it is a bit in a row area that is without Slovenia, that is without Greece and Turkish European part, and for some also without Romania. But the map, there's two maps that you can see. You can see the map of Balkans and position of my country on this peninsula. The capital and the largest city in Bosnia and Herzegovina is Sarajevo.
Excuse
about-
me, excuse me, Edin. Would you
Yes.
open your the PPT? You please share it.
Is it share? No.
No, not yet. You can choose, the sharing and open it. First, you should enter the sharing. Yeah.
Just a sec. Is it share now? No.
Not yet. Yeah,
Now?
it's coming. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's good. Okay.
It's okay now.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. But can you make it like a full screen? No, it's difficult. It's still okay. Yeah, I can see the
Well,
political map. Okay.
you can see it. The map.
I can see. Yeah, right.
In full size.
Doctor, would you please show it from the beginning once again?
From the yeah. Okay.
Is it okay now?
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
not okay.
not okay.
Not okay. Okay, now?
Yeah, it's okay. Now.
Okay.
It's
It's okay now.
Yeah, it works. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Ready.
I'll just talk about maps and position of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Balkan Peninsula, so you understand what I wanted to share with you. And this is the map of Balkan, and you know that the definition of Balkan area is not precise. So there are two maps that can show you where is Bosnia and where is Balkan in European context. So that's it. That's about first slide. About this slide, I would share with you that the capital, the largest city in Bosnia and Herzegovina is Sarajevo, that has about 400 inhabitants. And regarding population of Bosnia and Herzegovina, at this moment, it's very hard to say the exact number, but according to last people census, this country has 3.5 million inhabitants. Just to mention that before the war, in 1991, Bosnia and Herzegovina has 4.4 million inhabitants. Due to political reasons, we didn't have people census in 2023, and at this moment nobody knows when will be next people census, but there are some estimations about the number of inhabitants in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and in a bit pessimistic estimation, Bosnia and Herzegovina has 2.5 million only, unfortunately, or in a more optimistic it is 2.8 million. The reason because of huge migrations to before or to countries of European Union. That's something what's happening and horrible in context of the demographic picture, and unfortunately, we as a country lose many inhabitants on every month and every day, it seems. So that's about population. Some elementary characteristic of Bosnian society of Bosnia and Herzegovina is that our society is multicultural, multi-religious, multi-ethnic. Three main ethnic groups are Bosniaks, about 50%, Serbs about 33%, and Croats about 15%. That's about population of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and some elementary facts about geography, about geoposition. If you talk about geopolitics, you know that it's not possible to talk about geopolitical positions now without history. So it's the main reason why I would like to remind you and ourselves on some elementary facts on Bosnian history, and to go through this slide together. Bosnian history started in 9th century, and when the country was first time mentioned in the writings by the Byzantine Emperor Constantine in his famous work, the Admitant Imperio. Later in 14th century, we can talk about Kingdom of Bosnia, not Herzegovina, not just Bosnia. From the mid of 15th century, in this area of Balkans came new empire, the Ottoman Empire, and Bosnia as a province was part of Ottoman Empire from 15th to 19th century, and exactly from Berlin Congress from 1878 to 1918. That is exactly 4 decades. Bosnia, and now for the first time we have two words in the name, in the title of this in the name of this country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, was under the rule of Austrian authorities, and in 20th century we have period of two Yugoslavia. First kingdom of Yugoslavia. We had, of course, like the whole Europe, the whole world. We had also First and Second World War, and after the Second World War, we had Second Yugoslavia, which that finished its lifetime in 1991-2. We after 1992 we can talk about independence republics that established their statehood after the dissolution of Yugoslavia, 6 republics, and unfortunately from 1992 to 1995 we had very horrible, very bloody war followed by aggression. And that war was finished in 1995 with the famous Dayton Peace Agreement that bring us also constitution and very complicated state structure after that. So that's in Dayton, in post-Dayton space we live that time. Something what is important to mention is that the whole history of this region, including the territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina, this territory was on border area of many huge events, historic events that happened through the history. Bosnian territory was on border on this or on the other side, or in some cases that border came to the Bosnia. So that contributed to that in this area it is a specific mix of cultures, of society established and formed through the centuries. First, I would like to remind you on a map that shows the splitting of the Roman Empire in 4th century, and you can see the border is through the territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and you know how many implications that splitting left for many for the whole European civilization, not only for Bosnia and Herzegovina, but Bosnia was on borders and reflections were more direct before or in the living context. But later you will see later things that this is map of traditional Western and Eastern Christianity in 11th century, and you can see that the line also pass through the territory which is directly under influence, which is directly connected to the area of Bosnia, now Bosnia and Herzegovina, at the time that was just Bosnian Banat. For example, this map from 17th century shows the other geopolitical reality, and it shows that Bosnian province was part of at that time one of the biggest global power, Ottoman Empire, and you can see that Bosnia was also again in border area, and that was border province that contributed to some specific position in context of the developing society, and also in context of political position in Ottoman states. One of the famous political events in 19th century was the Congress of Berlin in 1878, and we have again new position and new challenges for you would say for the Europe, and especially for this part of Europe, for Balkans area. And Bosnia and Herzegovina, you can see that after Berlin, Bosnia is now from 1878, Bosnia and Herzegovina is now in, and also Herzegovina, and it is part now of the other empire, big empire at that time, Austro-Hungarian Empire, and also in some specific position within that empire, and also on border area with the rest of, well, at that time, after that time, we in border area with smaller countries established in Balkan area like Serbia, like Montenegro, and with also with the Ottoman Empire. That's it. Well, now we move to 20th century. that period of Yugoslavia. First, we had, well, as I mentioned, Kingdom of Yugoslavia, and later, after the Second World War, we have Socialistic Yugoslavia, where Bosnia and Herzegovina was, that's it, where Bosnia and Herzegovina was one of 6 republics in that state. And you can see on your screen the map of that shows the division of the world at that time before of the division of the Europe at that time between 2 military alliances, Warsaw Pact and NATO, North Atlantic Alliance, NATO. Yeah. And you can see that the position of Yugoslavia and the Bosnia also was part of that state is here is in white color. So again, it means that the country is somewhere between 2 polarized blocks. After 1990s, something, well, this is the map of 2024 that shows how many countries we have at this time on the territory of Balkan Peninsula, and 6, 7 countries that were established after the dissolution of Yugoslavia. Something what is what would be interesting to for you, I think, especially as you come from Asia, from North America, from America, and other countries which are not so close and with the history of this area, is that all these facts, historic facts, including the fact that this country was bordering country in many cases contributed to create one specific mix of Bosnian society that has specific characteristics of multi-religious society, multicultural society, multi-ethnic society, and this was reflected in many segments of the coexistence that developed here through the centuries. The concept of the other and the different was not foreign to average inhabitants of Bosnia, at least when it comes to the religious sense. Here, created, we would say, a specific cuisine, a specific architecture, specific urban landscape, some special customs, special musical expression, literal expression, etc. And all these charming symbiosis came from the East. I think here East in political, and the West also in the political context. I would say different influence that we have from Central European area, from Ottoman, from Byzantine, from some of them came from Venetian Republic, etc. Of course, I don't want to idolize anything, but in the case of Bosnia and Herzegovina, each society, there are indeed some specificities that are noticed by everyone who visits this country, as well as those who research it more deeply. And now, what are the problems? Because well, on political map of Europe and in our internal context, things sometimes doesn't look so good. Unfortunately, this area, not only Bosnia, but also the Balkans, I think, the last century was engulfed by many wars that devastated and destroyed many times this region, including my country. This is especially evident from the beginning of the 19th century with the development of national movements in the Balkans. Parallel to that process, the so-called Eastern question entered in its final phase. Interest in the European part of the Ottoman Empire was shown by many great powers of that time, like Russia, like Austria-Hungary, like Germany, that had their own interest in the Balkans after unification. And of course, England and France are always present here. In the case of Bosnia, interest in its territory was also shown by small states, newborn states from our region that were in process of creation of national states like Serbia, like Montenegro and Croatia. The first and the Second World War gave a new dynamic to the history of this part of the Balkan area, and the most important historical fact is the formation of the First and Second Yugoslavia. These Yugoslavia states had their lifetimes, and the last one disappeared due to the cosmic turbulences created after the fall of the Berlin Wall. The consequences of the war, I would say, different influences and aggressive neighboring forces, this country survives even today. And maybe that is the key problem of this country in the post-Dayton conflict. That is why some scholars say that Dayton did not bring real peace, but rather that we live in the absence of the war. Finally, I would like just to point out two things before we open our conversation. First is that every serious problem and a few wars that Bosnia has had in the last 150 years came from outside, so they are not the result of the culmination of misunderstanding within different religious and ethnic groups. But those ethnic groups were instrumentalized to achieve foreign, political, and national, sometimes nationalistic goals by our first neighbors or some global power centers. Second point that I would like to underline is that Bosnia is a small country and throughout history it has never been a subject in international relations but only object, often an ordinary pawn on the chessboard in big geopolitical games. Now on your screen you can to return to map of Bosnia and Herzegovina. This map shows ethnic map of the state in 1991, and later we will see the results of the war. Unfortunately, we had horrible the war. We about 100 killed, 2 million displaced persons, ethnic cleansing culminating in the Srebrenica. Genocide that is confirmed by a destruction of International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. Well, demographic disaster from 5.5 million, we now have, in optimistic estimation, we have 2.8 million. I have already explained why it happened. Well, the result of the Dayton Peace Agreement is our constitution that gave us very complex and very complicated administrative organization of the state. We have state level, for example, we have 2 entity levels, plus district plus cantonal level, 10 cantons, local communities, 142 local communities, etc. And multi-ethnic and multi-religious character of many local communities unfortunately was destroyed. Now you can see the two maps. One map is from ethnic map from 1991, and the other is from 1998, and you can see how these colors moved, unfortunately, as a implication of the war. In administrative context, for the war, Bosnia and Herzegovina has one central authority now. They are divided in 2 entities. You can see one entity is the Federation of the Bosnia and Herzegovina, the other is Republika, and this is district Brčko. and the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina consists of 10 cantons. The most significant things in post-Dayton phase in the context of our international position is related to, well, we would say, well, it's too broad topic. We could open it, but I would say that regarding international context of this country, position of this country is that our post-war, post-war political actors made decision to go to European Union, to be a member of the European Union, and also very soon after the war, our foreign political goal was to be member, to achieve full membership in NATO, in North Atlantic Alliance. Why I mentioned it, you will understand it later. Well, everything what happened in the post-war, in post-Dayton phase is related to European integration. Mentioned, I mentioned key things here, and that the last point is that Bosnia gets conditional green light for EU accession this year. Unfortunately, I would say that it is on some way not result of our internal achievement to achieve European standards. It is unfortunately the result of global of some things that are happening on global level before all on European level, and exactly I mean here on the war, on aggression of Russian Federation on Ukraine. And our process of EU integration is a long process, burdened by internal and external factors. Our political actors are more declarative rather than actual support for European integration. We have very complicated internal organization, and it's also the other problem that enables many actors to do political blockades. Again, interesting for international political context is influence of neighboring countries. Here we can talk about the continuation of certain foreign policy activities from Serbia and Croatia, but also from others. On the geopolitical hotspots for global actors, Bosnia, we can see, we can feel here the influence from NATO, from United States, from Russia, and other countries. This map also can illustrate geopolitical position. If something is related to historic context, like Turkey, like Russia, also here it is mentioned 41, but if we could talk about 2 centuries or so in historic influence from Russia to this region in the Balkans, including also Bosnia and Herzegovina, and also from European side. Before I mentioned, I have now only two slides to show you what is the, well, this, I will finish with this. What are the hottest topics now in my country? First, I would, if I have to choose one, first would be resolution on Srebrenica that is on agenda of the United Nations in New York on May 2nd May. The second hottest topic is threat of secession of the entity Republic of Srpska. These policies prevent the consolidation of internal relations the last 15 years, and it seems that but today they have rather open hostility support from Serbia and Russia, and the approach to accession of Bosnia and Herzegovina to EU and especially to NATO alliance. I will stop here. Probably you have something to ask to this for discussion. Please your attention for just for 1 minute on this animation. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Professor Veladzic. So now we open the floor for sharing questions and comments from our regular members. Yes, Mikio,
Uh,
please.
okay. Thank you very much, Professor Bernard, yeah, and allow me to talk to speak first time. Yeah, this is very interesting topic because yeah, in 1990s I was doing my PhD based in Malaysia, and yeah, this is a big issue, especially Malaysia as a Islamic country, Muslim majority countries, uh, strongly support the Muslims, right, and Bosnia Herzegovina, and against other religions, the followers of other religions. So basically, the people in Malaysia have the natural sympathy to the, what that, Bosnian, maybe Muslim, yeah. But I think this is a rather one-sided view of the conflict. So that this is a good opportunity for me to know the more balanced and the holistic picture of the conflict and how this conflict was managed and the current result. So I have two questions. One question is about the common history, because in this History NGO Forum, history textbook issue becomes a very significant issue, yeah? Because history textbook reflects a common understanding of the history. And in your country, Bosnia Herzegovina, and there are maybe mostly three major different groups, and each group used to have their own history and their own understanding, especially understanding of the conflict, right? And then definitely, I guess these understanding are maybe originally, maybe mutually contradicting. I think that depending on Bosnian Bosnian Muslim and Croatian and Serbian, and but I think that for a country to be united, especially to maintain its unity, I think there needs to be a common understanding. I think so. I think this is I guess this is a huge effort and maybe national struggle to come up with maybe common understanding, especially understanding of the conflict, right? So I would like to hear a little bit about this one, and maybe including the maybe all these efforts usually result in the history textbook and how the children are educated in the country. This is one question, and another one is the response to the Russia and the so-called Russian aggression. I would say Russia's special military operation for my side. So I'm quite interested because you say because more than half of the population are Muslims, right? And I think then the remaining 40 something percent Orthodox Christianity followers, more Orthodox Christianity followers than the Roman Catholic followers, right? So I want to know about these things. I guess I think the different religious groups respond differently to Russia's so-called aggression into Ukraine. So this can be an issue to divide the country. But as you mentioned, it looks like kind of national consensus would be to join NATO, to join Europe, rather than more, how do you say, rather than taking the position maybe close to Russia, right? So I would like to hear from you the current situation. I think the Orthodox Christians, also of course Orthodox Christians, also between Ukraine and Russian, many of them, both on both sides, they are following the Orthodox Christian. Also, some of them are following the Roman Catholic. But I feel that generally the Orthodox Christians have tends to have a sympathy to maybe Russia. I guess this is my guess. And maybe the Catholics more Western oriented, and then the Muslims. I'm curious about the position of Muslims. If there's such a unified position among the Muslims, because now the Muslims in the third world, Muslims in the Middle East and over the world, they seem to be more, how do you say, tilted to Russian side, in my observation. But as you just now say, and Bosnia and Herzegovina as a country seems to more tilted to European Union and NATO. So I would like to know more about this situation. So the two questions. One is maybe establishing the common history. Another one is response to the Russian so-called aggression. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, Mikio-san. Dr. Veladzic, would you like to respond now to the
Okay, no
question?
problem. I can try. First, related to common history books. Unfortunately, at this moment, until this moment, we couldn't succeed to have common history books in our country. Due to according to Dayton Peace Agreement, we have I already mentioned many administrative levels which are in charge for education. But in fact, we could talk about three ethnic curriculum which are designed in different ministries, and in reality we could talk about three approaches to history, at least two approaches. It's not only about the war in 1990. History and the war also in 1990 has its roots, has its historic context, and it's in some cases it's problem to have common position in schools, for example, for something what happened in the Middle Ages. So that's the position. As I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, is related to EuroClio activities. We tried to achieve something, before to make people closer, to start to cooperate together, etc. And 20 years ago, we unfortunately, I would say that we were closer. Even that time was just after the war, but we were closer to common goals than today. Due to different historic political processes that we had in last, at least in last 10 years, things go in totally different directions, and now it is very hard to say that anything happening on this level related to common approaches to history education. 20 years ago, we had common conferences, common approaches, some kind of common principles. Mr. Pingle, I think, also participated in some programs that had that goals, but unfortunately, things today are get out in opposite directions. That's about common history approaches. So we have three different approaches in history education, and it seems that we have three different curriculums, good, of course, it's not good for the future of society of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It goes as normally well. On that way, it's not possible to create common interest in education area. But that's it. That's the point. I'm not here to say what I would like to have. Different, but I'm talking about what is in reality, in fact. And the second question, if I understand you well, you want that I comment position of Bosnian Muslims to Russian foreign policy in this area in Balkans or or that in Ukraine.
So I would like to know how the people in your country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, has responded to Russia's so-called aggression. I think the people may have responded differently, and this may become the cause of the maybe national divide, maybe division. But from what you explained just now, I think that your country seems to be rather maybe united to be, how they say, to be tilted on the side of European Union and NATO rather than approaching the Russian side. So I would like to know more about what is happening in your country. Yeah.
Well, the position of my country is very sensitive in that sense because it's problem to define what is the position of my country because again, at least political actors that came from different ethnic groups has totally opposite position to different issues. So it means that if you are talking about Serbian, mostly in the religious context, mostly Orthodox population, actors and political parties that came from that people are mostly for closer relations to Russia. I mentioned that at this moment it is about 33% of population on the level of Bosnia and Herzegovina, but in one entity it is about 90%. On the other side, we have situation that people of the other two mostly ethnic groups, Bosniaks, in the religious context, mostly of them are Muslims. The other ethnic groups, Croats, most of them are Catholic. Political parties, political actors that came from these two ethnic groups, they are mostly for in definition of, for example, the war in Ukraine, and not only Ukraine, but also allies to under our way to European integration to NATO. It is there is one consensus that our position of our country is there. So I try to explain you the position of different political actors that came from different political ethnic groups. So in that context, it is very hard to define what is position of Bosnia and Herzegovina because it is on some way confronted. But there is something, there are some documents that are mentioned that are adopted on the level of Bosnia and Herzegovina, related, for example, to foreign policy in 2018, and it is mentioned that the strategic goal of Bosnia and Herzegovina is to follow European Union in international politics. But on the other side, that was in 6 years ago. But now, on the other side, you know that what is the official position of European Union to the war in Ukraine. On the other side, not only in Ukraine, on other also area in the world, But on the other side, we have political following of position of Russian position from some political actors that came from in this case that came from Serbian political parties.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I have some clearer image of what's happening in the country. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mikio. The next question, well, the two gentlemen already spotlighted. Kad Mikio, please ask your question. You are muted. Senor, you are muted. Okay.
Thank you very much for your very special presentation from Bosnia Herzegovina, Dr. Veladzic. Is it okay to call you Veladzic?
Well, I fully understand that it is very difficult for people
pronounce.
from, especially from Asia, to pronounce. The right pronunciation is Veladzic.
Veladzic.
Yes, that's the closest. Veladzic.
Yeah, thank you very much.
D and Z is a G, is specific pronounced G.
I see.
Veladzic.
Thank you. And I'd like to tell you a short story about Bosnia and Herzegovina and myself. And I've come to know the war is breaking out in 1992 in Yugoslavia. And my student, I was a senior high school English teacher, and my students and I wanted to stop the war before it becomes very big. And so we tried to write letters to the leaders of each country. I mean, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, and Serbia. And we almost posted in the post office. But one person in the post office advised us that the post service in Yugoslavia is not working well now, so it would be rather hard to reach letters, and so we thought, and we discussed, and we sent it to the United Nations General Secretary. And we got the answer from some secretary, undersecretary, and it said that I will do that for you. I mean, forwarding the letter to the leaders of Yugoslavia. This is not the ordinary service at all, but I'll do it for two reasons. One is that I was a United Nations, how to say that, the Yugoslavian, United Nations officer in Yugoslavia up until recently. And one more thing is that he was evacuated in our town, Yamagata, while he was small, and he was a Japanese, and I feel very friendly feeling with your town, so I'll do that for you. And so he did that for us, and he wrote back a very kind letter. And but the situation got worse and worse in Yugoslavia, and we wondered, and what can we do? What would there be anything we can do? And we come to know that there was a very famous singer from Bosnia Herzegovina, Jadranka, and and
She passed away, unfortunately.
yeah. And she stayed in Tokyo and somewhere around the area and sang Bosnian song in Japan. But she felt very lonely and she was inactive. So we wrote letters to her again this time to cheer her up. And she wrote back. She didn't write back anything, but when I asked the manager of Yadranka if it is possible that we can get some kind of answer, and she kindly sent us a very beautiful drawing, water painting, and now it is in the library of the school, and we have been much concerned about your country and the situation, and so now so I'd like to ask some questions. Croatia, the next door country to Bosnia and Herzegovina, that it has got into EU region member country already, but Bosnia and Herzegovina has not yet. And you told us that Dayton Agreement is a little complicated, and it has complicated elements and conditions. So would there be any connection with the Dayton Agreement about the difference of Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina? And the last question I would like to ask is that do people in Bosnia and Herzegovina live in peacefully with the inside the country and also with the other country around the region? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this reflection, Mr. Khan, and for your engagement in 1990s to convince political leaders in Balkans in the area of ex-Yugoslavia to stop the war. The first question, I will attend to your first question and try to get the French because I couldn't hear the best first question, but I will now answer on your question, on second question. If you, about people, my personal opinion would be that that utopic approach, but common people. If it would be possible to leave them without any politics in public area, that common people would find solutions very soon for every common policy and coexistence in this beautiful country. There is no, to be honest, at this moment there is no problems. Well, if you could travel, and every person could travel everywhere. It is important. It was regarding that area, regarding that security area. What is important is that's okay. The segment. Regarding returning, for example, after the war, in the first decade, it was problem with refugees. That was problem for them to find a solution to, well, everything was destroyed, to find solution again to be part of the society. If everything is destroyed, of their home, there to find the place where to work, etc. And we have systematic political obstacles. Well, that's why we had at this moment, I would ask you to remind on ethnic maps that I show you, that how ethnic maps were different in 1990s and how it is now, well, more well, only in 3 colors now, but on local community, on local level in 1990s, I think maybe 10% of our local communities were monoethnic or monoethnic in 90%. All others were mixed. Now it's unfortunate situation is different. Well, again to your question, common people, well, more or less we would say that they live normal life, normal communication, and but well, common ordinary people is well, it is under limitation of politics, official politics, and different instruments that official politicians has in responsibility to protect for common action. For example, now related to our activities in EuroClio association, in the last 2 years for us it's a problem to organize. For example, workshops or conferences in one part of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the entity of the Republic of Srpska, because it's a problem for teachers from that entity, because they are afraid that they could have a problem with authorities, with ministries, because it's problematic if they cooperate with somebody who came from other entity and especially from other ethnic groups, etc., etc. So it means that politicians want to have everything under control, and they have instruments to realize that kind of politics, unfortunately. That's the answer on your second question. Please remind me what was your first question related to Croatia. I think that the role of Croatia as a part of EU, and what was the rest? I couldn't hear.
Yeah, Croatia has already got a member of EU
Yes.
membership countries, but Bosnia-Herzegovina has not yet. And
Yes.
yeah, so what makes the difference between these two countries? Would there be any connection with the Dayton agreement that you said it is complicated? It has complicated elements or complicated
Yes.
situation.
Yeah. Regarding it's euphemism. We say that Dayton peace agreement produced a little bit complicated administration. It is very complicated administration in our country, unfortunately. And this problem is a problem for a normal functionality. Regarding the Croatian role, well, yes, Croatia is our first neighbor country. We, as a country, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Croatia has the longest border. It's approximately about 1,000 kilometers, and more or less relations mainly okay. Well, a lot of inhabitants from Bosnia and Herzegovina work there. Well, position of Croatia now at this moment is such that Croatia is part of the European Union, and that is on some way that is problematic for Croatian population in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In which context? In context of demographic movement. It is more more opportunities you have if you live in a country that is member of the European Union than if you are out. For you, if you are, for example, a businessman or whatever, or if you are a student, if you graduate on the faculty that is part of the European Union, you can after your diploma, you can apply for your job wherever you want in the European Union. But if you are with diploma from outside of the European Union, your chances to get a job, for example, as a doctor or an architect, are on if in a case that you are member that you are part of Croatia, that's in better position than if you are in Bosnia. And Croatian population in Bosnia and Herzegovina has the rights for citizenship of Croatia per burn. Simply, they can apply and get citizenships of Croatia, and that is something what is, how to say, what is more attractive for every person, not only for Croatia, but Croatia are in better position because they can get passport, they can get citizenship of a Croatian country. So they move to Croatia and later other to EU. And we have the population also not only in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have that also in Serbia. We have the population in North Macedonia, also in Croatia. But it seems that Bosnia and Herzegovina is due to our internal problems are affected on the highest level with the population, with migration to European Union. So I'm not sure that I point out your question, but that's I think that that's it. If you something else to add or some additional question, please.
Okay.
Yes. Nikio?
Yep. Yes.
You still have a question?
Would there be any connection with the present situation or present stability of the society of Herzegovina that the EU has not admitted their entry to the region?
We are talking about Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Can you
Sorry.
repeat the question, Nikio?
Can you repeat, please? Can you repeat the question?
Yes. If the EU does not admit the new country to come into the region, if there is some how can I say it, racial problem or some sort of conflict inside the country, and so I wonder if there is any conflict or that any elements that makes your country stable to live together peacefully for the people in your country?
Well, that's a hard question.
Sorry, please answer as much as you can. So.
Yes. I think that it's always possible in a country like Bosnia and Herzegovina that has society like our society that is divided, that consists of 3 ethnic groups that had bloody war 30 years ago. Many things in the last 13 years after Dayton peace agreement shows us that our society has potential for stability and for normal life. But on the other side, also we could say that it's as we are still weak democracy. It's always possible to instrumentalize different actors in our groups, especially for different interests that could come from outside, like I mentioned that many times happened in the past, to instrumentalize and the potentials for future conflicts, I wouldn't guarantee that it's not possible. But I want to, but from on the other side, I want to say and underline, if you're talking about common population, it's well, I'm totally sure that our society, when I say our society, I mean on Bosnia and Herzegovinian society, I mean on in every part of this country, it's always possible that there is enough capacity for stability. Well, the European Union membership in the European Union is something what would be the best award for us and for the best instrument for relaxation of internal relations, and from one side, and also that could be one kind of stop for different influences that could come from outside. But waiting, well, situation where Bosnia and Herzegovina has to wait in waiting room is not the best position. But on the other side, our internal actors, to be honest, also to be honest, on the other side, our internal actors, before, or I mean on authorities, different authorities, different political parties, before different political leaders, I'm not sure that there are, well, in some cases, very often they are on declarative level for European integration, but in reality, they do many things that couldn't well force us to go to EU. Well, I would say that in many cases we have stated that our political actors are on declarative level for EU membership, not for in real, not serious. But 95%, if you are talking about, or 90% at least, we're talking about our common population, I'm sure that they would accept. Well, I'm not talking about European. No, that's not a green card. Yeah, okay, you can enter or not. I'm talking about standards that should be accepted from our society inside, in different area, in different policies. But well, our authorities at this moment doesn't sound so optimistic.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
Thank you very much for your kind answer.
okay,
May I say something to it? Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
Just about the EU. I know that just in the last months, there is a general agreement in the EU to start a process of what is called negotiations about this topic. And that is one side, EU with Bosnia-Herzegovina, but then once in the negotiations, all the other member states also start having their input. And that is what makes it such a long process. It's not just going from 1 month or from 6 months to agreement. So I just wanted to lay out that all the other member states in the EU also have a word to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Cristel. Okay, Sumo, ask your question.
Yes, thank you. Oh, Edin, thank you very much for your participation as a speaker, you know, in my Global Thursday Forum. In fact, I have two questions. You know, one is like a terminology of the Balkan, and the second one is your national identity and leadership. You know, I will go to Balkan, you know, these countries in July, and I began to, you know, read and learn more about the Balkan. And before I have just a little knowledge about Balkan, but on, you know, we learned the 1984 Sarajevo, the Winter Olympics. Okay, I still remember, yeah, 1984, and while listening to your you know presentation, I learned that we had something in common, like you experienced like not only your country but other Balkan countries. You experienced like a civil war, also like a colonial rule. Okay, you long time colonial rule or something. Like Korea, we like experienced like a civil war, like we call it Korean War, and colonial rule. But a little different civil war. Like we are more like still some scholars call this area Northeast Asia. Okay, we call it Northeast Asia, New Cold War. Okay, New Cold War. Okay, like you know, the USA is involved in, Japan and Korea is like one block, and North Korea and China and Russia. Okay, the other block or something, and but we are more like ideological some conflict between North Korea, South Korea, but your case is quite different, okay? My first question is the terminology of the Balkan, okay? I learned from my history book, I began to learn to read the history of the Balkan. The term Balkan itself has a negative some meaning or the impression, okay? So how about as you are the you know the Bosnia Herzegovina, your people, because it seems to a little depend on the area. Their impression seems different. Like I talk with the Serbian friends, oh, they said it's okay. We already accepted Balkan, very natural. Uh, but sometimes we call like South Eastern Europe or something. I don't know is correct or not, but as the your from your perspective, what do you think we call your area Balkan? Because we are going to hold our conference in July, and we like you know our title is like 2024 Balkan, the international conference NGOs on history and peace. So we like include the Balkan. Okay, so it would be very helpful for me to understand it. There is one. And you know, you are very diverse ethnic and what religion or something. So how do you promote or how do you the enhance the national identity? Okay, and in connection with your leadership, because I know that the three presidents, okay, still is the in function, like three presidents from different ethnic groups. Like you know, you are like turn by turn. Some period as leadership is changing or something. So would you a little bit explain about your leadership? Okay, leadership there, and how to promote your national identity. Okay, maybe connection with like history, education or something. So I was very wondering about your leadership, okay, like presidential leadership or something is my question.
Go ahead, Professor Edin.
Mr. Kang,
Yes.
there is misunderstanding in words, in terminology, when we say national identity and ethnic identity. It's in public area,
Let me
intellectual level also.
Let me repeat. The first one is just simple. The Balkan, okay. The term Balkan, I call we call Balkan your area? Like, of course, I know it's like a name of the mountains or something, but if we call Balkan, do you think it's natural and your people accept it as a good impression or something? This is my just a simple question.
Well, the first question is about Balkan really and perception of Balkan. Okay, that's in my country. That's something what is reality. Maybe it's problematic, for example, for if you want to include, for example, Slovenia, and in some cases Croatian population. Well, for some of them, they want to say yes, we are a Balkan according to culture, to habits, to everything. But for some of them, they simply don't want to be the part of that Balkan because well, we are on the other side of the border. We are Central European. We are in cultural context. We are not Balkans. But for definitely for population in Bosnia and Herzegovina, in Serbia, in North Macedonia, in all other countries, that's something what is reality. You can't I can't be Korean or I can't be Asian because I'm not from there. I'm from this part of Europe, and that's reality. I can like you can choose where you will be born. Well, that's simple. So in that context, Balkan in for the whole population of my country is something what is fact. If you can't simply you are born here and that's it. As I mentioned, maybe if you mentioned if you want to include Croatian or Croatian people from Croatia, for example, from Istria or Istria region, or for example from somebody from Slovenia, but on a regional level, it's very often you can notice, as I mentioned during my presentation, it's in scholarly circles. It's not there are not fixed borders of Balkans area. That's normal. But for my country, that's and the population for majority of this country, that's something what is. I don't know. For example, for Greek population, is that okay? I know that for many of them, you can understand it. For example, if you analyze music or cuisine or some folk traditions, etc. That's normal. That you can define that area on that way. That's it regarding Balkan definition. Is it okay? And now the second question is related to
yes.
national
Second
identity.
question: your leadership. I mean, the Bosnia Herzegovina. How do you the govern your leaders? You know are there three presidents from each ethnic group, and you have some turn by turn representing the the leader. I heard about that. Still, that your leadership system is like that.
Unfortunately, that's my personal opinion. I'm not sure that we can talk about leadership in case of our members of our presidency, because my understanding of leadership is different. But yes, there are first. In that construction, they are first in the case of representation of the state, and unfortunately, according to the constitution, they would be representative of every citizen of this country. But in reality, the situation is such that they very often, or mainly, not very often, mainly in their political engagement, they act only as representative of ethnic groups that choose them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's fine with you, Sungho?
Yeah, right. Yeah, my question is over. Okay, so
Okay.
okay, other members.
Estelle, please ask your question now.
Yes, so thank you so much. I'm learning. I was actually in Bosnia in 2019 and last year with my husband's classes, Dr. Mark Open. We took a group of students, American students, just to learn about what was happening and, you know, in the past and now. So my question really, or I would like to know more about the youth and young people, because when I was there and talking to some of them, there seemed to have been a disconnect between the youth and the adults or the older people. And part of it is they weren't so much interested in the history. They were more interested in today and the future, also meaning that, you know, what are the opportunities? What were their needs? They cited a disconnect in the educational system, that it really was more about separation. It wasn't about bringing them together. They also cited, of course, high unemployment. And so, and there was really, they also seemed to be like, you know, they had goals of leaving the country, not staying, but going into the EU and other places. So I think, and then when you talk to the older people or their parents, you know, there was concern about them leaving. And then what would happen to Bosnia? Because you are, you know, the youth is the foundation of any country. So my question really is more about if you can talk a little bit about the mindset of the youth and also how are they engaged in making Bosnia, you know, prosper. So we talked about membership in the EU, but also are they really, how are they made to be part of the solution and to sustain, you know, a society and not become radicalized?
It's a question for decision makers, but I'm not sure that. In fact, I'm sure that situation is the same like when it was during your visit to Boston. It was 5 years ago, as I understand you. It's the same now, and how to include, how to change things. Well, unfortunately, political subjects, those who are in position to change policy, not political policy before all, I'm not sure that they share your vision. My vision probably would be very close to yours, and to the vision of many representatives of younger generations, and political parties, political actors regularly, not very often, regularly, they gave and they still give chances to those who will be follower of their policies, not the others. So that's well, nobody wants somebody who would say yes, it's let's stop. We can go to the same classes. Okay, we can. Well, I mentioned 10 minutes ago that for us as history educators, somebody who is still engaged in improvement of history education, we now have a problem to organize in some part of Bosnia and Herzegovina to organize well, workshops about history education. Nothing. Well, on workshops you will not change history curriculum. You will not change. Well, adopt any something that is obligatory for history teaching or for any kind of education. But it's problem for history educators that come from, for example, from the Republic of Srpska, because they have a problem with the authorities. For example, we will have during May and in June with my colleague from Benelux. But she told me, okay, but we have to organize that in the federation because our teachers could have a problem. And we act as civil organization, and okay, no problem. We will organize it. We have two workshops. We have to organize two workshops. We can organize two workshops, both of them in federation. I'm talking about two simple things, but mention it just to understand the political context in which we act now. It was not 15 years ago that was normal that we organize many workshops, many history education conferences. For example, Benelux, I was organizer of such events, but now it's problem for them, and we don't want to be the reason that somebody has any kind of problem. So again, I know that this is not the right answer on your question, but how to improve younger? I think that's my now that's my personal opinion. I think that in education area that the international community missed chances just after the war. For example, in the first decades, that time the role of the national actors like OSCE, Organization for Security Cooperation, like Council of Europe, like other UN agencies, different agencies that were here, and they had enough big power to consolidate our education programs, at least on something that could be relatively acceptable for all of us, or majority of in different curriculum, and that's not happened. Well, we were on some way on that way. They pushed us to do it alone on some way. Our authorities, but when things get out of control, well, now the situation is such that we have a longer situation than we had, for example, 2005.
Okay, Cristel. Okay, thank you. Constantina, please ask your question now.
Thanks a lot for your presentation and answerings. And thanks a lot also, Mr. Mikio, for the story that he told about the letter and he wrote with his students. It's really very touching for me hearing that as a teacher. Thanks a lot. Mr. Veladzic, if I understood well, and I am not, it's not naive what I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. I think you told about outside influences that you are afraid of as Bosnia Herzegovina waits the UN entrance. You talked about outside influences that you were afraid. I understood well that, because you said as most times in the past happened. I'd like to be more precise what you mean, or perhaps I didn't understand it. You have just explained, but if you think you can add something or say something, I'd like to. Thanks.
I think that my answer more general, but I want to say that having in mind everything that's going on global level, problems that we have in different parts of Europe, in different parts on global level, and influence and confrontation that we have at this moment, for example, between Russia and the EU, between Russia and the United States, different actors in Europe, different governments in Europe, within the EU, different combination and between. It's I mentioned the hot, at the end of my presentation. I mentioned at this moment the hottest topics, and for example, at this moment, the resolution on Srebrenica is something that is very alive in our area. And for example, just to know that president of the entity of the Republic of Srpska visited Russia in these days to request for some kind of support. And from St. Petersburg, yesterday he has sent a message that things will be different after the 2nd May, when that resolution is on the agenda of the UN. That's something what could be problematic. So in that context, I mentioned that things are always there is option, always there is potentials for problems, for producing problems.
Okay, so thank you for the response, Professor Edin. Thank you, Constantino. And our time is up. So back to you, Sung Ho. You're muted. Sung Ho, you are muted. Unmute, please.
I made a mistake. Okay, thank you very much for your participation, all of you, and particularly, today's speaker, Dr. Edin Veladzic. Okay, okay, from
Yes.
Bosnia Herzegovina, and also today's moderator, okay, Dr. Bernard Garganilla from the Philippines. All it's like all this connection and this forum, seems like very natural, but it's very marvelous. Okay, it's connected through this Global Thursday Forum, different part of the world, this simultaneously. Okay, from the United States and from the Balkan country. Okay, and we are here, Asia, and Greece, Greece, so even though different time, so of course you are quite busy. I know you are very tied with your own schedules, but really thank you very much for sparing time and joining this forum, and I really appreciate, and I really very cherish our our friendship and our gathering. Okay, and today I will learn about the Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it's very interesting compare Balkan experience and East Asia or the Northeast Asia, right? Okay, so a historical dialogue, historical dialogue, and we some members will go there, including myself. And how can I prepare? Okay, I will introduce the East Asian case, and I can learn from my Balkan friends about the Balkan situation. And I will prepare one more time, one more time from this next June maybe, May or June. I will announce later from the Serbia. Okay, they are Serbia, the Bosnia Herzegovina, Croatia. They have some different maybe perspective. Okay, different perspective. Okay, so it's very interesting. And every 2 weeks, okay, mostly without the special occasion, every 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, May 9th, okay, May 9th, we are focusing on the Southeast Asia, okay, like we still Southeast Asia, okay. Our regular member, Dr. Kamarul Zaman Askanda from Malaysia, okay, Malaysia, the University, Sains University in Malaysia, and his topic, the updates on the peace process in southern Thailand. Okay, he already he made the presentation 3 times, and this is his update of his research. And I learned from this Kamaruzaman Askanda, Dr. Askanda, about the Thailand in southern part. There is conflict. Okay, like kinds of like religious conflict or ethnic conflict. Maybe the Mikyo-san, the place very well, right? You are in Thailand, and still in many part of this Asia, we have some conflicts. Okay, so you can learn. Okay, you can learn from the speaker. Okay, 2 weeks later, May 9th. So. Okay, thank you everybody of your participation, discussion, and your joining. And if you can still spare time, I welcome you to our next forum, May 9th, okay? May 9th, okay? So everybody, okay, stay healthy, and I should say bye-bye, okay, bye-bye, okay, okay.
Bye.
Have a nice day, have a nice day.
You
Okay,
too.
thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.